Okay, this is my 2002 Ford Excursion 7.3 diesel, two-wheel drive. It has not been started in, I think, 8 days, so it's completely cold right now. And I'm going to show you how good it runs. Remember, 370,000 miles, which is nothing on these motors. There it is. A complete cold start. Air conditioner's working. Rear air works. I'm gonna drive it to work today to haul a lawnmower back that my son bought. And that's gonna be a 90-mile trip. So I would not hesitate to drive this thing anywhere in the country right this instant. Front end has been about 90% rebuilt. Still needs kingpins on the driver's side axle, although they're not really loose, they're just a tiny bit loose. Could probably use a steering box rebuild or a new steering box, but that's just not something I'm gonna do. It goes straight down the road, front end's tight, but the steering wheel has some play in it, so that's what the steering box would fix. It does leak oil when it sits, but if you drive it every day, it doesn't really leak. It might leak a few drops, but if the engine stays warm day after day after day, it really doesn't leak. But if it sits for 2 or 3 days, it'll leak a cup of oil, maybe a little more. I'm about 75% sure it's the O-rings on the high pressure oil pump. I think I might have those rings. I have a bunch of O-rings for the top of the motor. I think I might have those, and if I find the time, maybe I'll fix it. But time is not something I've got a lot of right now. So this is a great truck, guys, and it's cheap. If you ever wanted a 7.3, this could be the one. Also, if you wanted a 7.3 four-wheel drive, you could buy this and a wrecked F250 and still come out cheaper than buying a four-wheel drive Excursion. Four-wheel drive Excursions, even for junked ones, are like $10,000 and up. This particular one is priced at $5,000 right now, and you could probably pick up a wrecked or junked F250 or a gas model with a blown engine, and you know, for $1,000 or less, and then have a shop do the swap for you and still come out under $10,000. So think about that. So yeah, it's a great truck. Somebody buy it. I can't use it anymore. Okay, part 2. Here I am doing 70 miles an hour down Highway 6. And as you can hopefully see, look at this. Hands off the steering wheel. Tracking straight. Everything's good. No problems. Going to the right just a hair. There is a bit of a breeze out here. As you can see by those flags over there, there's a little bit of breeze pushing me around, but here, one hand holding the phone, one hand in front of the steering wheel, tracking straight. Steering wheel, you know, steering is good and tight. Here I am moving it around so that I can show you how we're going back and forth. Everything's good and tight on this thing. Brakes are good. Front brakes are brand new. Back brakes, I don't know, they have some life left on them. I don't know how old they are. But brakes are good and solid. You can step on the brakes and it stops completely straight. And here's the next test that everybody seems to want to know. Hopefully you can see out the back there pretty good. I'm gonna go full throttle to check for smoke. Ready? Here we go. It's full throttle. And as you can see out the back door, I'm doing 80. I'm still full throttle. That's 90 miles an hour in a 4.5 ton truck. That's almost 95 right there. Not a drop of smoke anywhere. This thing is solid and tight with 370,000 miles on it. There we go, let off the throttle, and we are good to go. One more thing, you probably noticed, or maybe you noticed, on the last video that the windshield is cracked. It's cracked all the way across. I have never been failed for an inspection by this windshield. What they told me is if it's not cracked right in your line of sight, that it passes. And it is not cracked in your line of sight, at least not for me. Or my wife, you know, who is 5'5", I think. She's gonna kill me if she sees this because I don't know how tall she is. Anyways, this windshield has been like this for a number of years, and it doesn't fail inspection, so I've just left it alone. Also, you guys probably want to see the seats, so here we go. Passenger rear. I'm driving and I've got to move some junk around here. Hang on. Plus we just used this for a trip out into the country, so there's a bunch of stuff in it. Passenger side. You can see how it's torn up. That's pretty typical of a lot of leather seats. The back on that side is fine. I'm not going to take the cover off to show you, but I've got these cheapo Walmart covers that kind of match the interior of the truck. Driver's side is worse than that side, obviously, because it's got a lot more wear in it, but still pretty comfortable. Here is driver's side rear. And of course the little flip down thingy. There is a third seat in there. And then I'll show you the very back if I can reach it. I don't know what you got to see out of that because I'm driving. I'm not texting and driving, I'm videoing and driving. So there you go. That's what the interior looks like. Headliner looks pretty good. It's all still up. There's no sagging spots that I know of. Like I said, rear AC works. The rear heat doesn't come on anymore because of the blend door needs fixing in the back. That's a pretty easy fix. I just haven't done it because I honestly didn't drive it much this winter. Let me see. Anything else I can think of to tell you about? The dashboard, a little dirty, but everything looks good there. No significant rattles. All the vents work. All the lights work. Oh, cup holder. This little part is broken. It should be like this, but it still holds a cup. It still goes in and out, so no problems there. There's one power point there. There's another power point there, but it's I had a phone charger disintegrate inside there and it shorted it out, so I unplugged it and took it out and then never replaced it. So it works. The wiring to it works. It just needs another cigarette lighter plug put in there. Oh, we have a brake controller. This is set up to tow. It has a 7-pin and a 4-flat pin in the back, and I'll even throw my triple ball hitch in on the deal with a lock. I have towed, the majority of my time was towing 3,000 to 4,000 pound trailers. I have towed trailers that were huge, like 10,000 pounds with this thing. It didn't really like it, but it did it. I mean, the motor, drivetrain, everything's fine. The suspension is what didn't like it. It sat down in the back quite a bit. That particular trailer was a token trailer that was typically towed by a bus, like a tour bus. Big, like semi-truck style, big bus, you know. I happened to tow that particular trailer because the bus broke down and I needed to move the trailer from one spot to another for about 15 miles, and truck did it no problems. Brakes were good, everything was fine. It just, if you were going to haul a giant motorhome, or not a motorhome, but like a bumper pull camper trailer that is a big, like 12,000 pound camper, these trucks will do it all day long with no problems. But you will have to make some modifications. You'll have to do a weight distribution hitch, beef up the back springs and things like that. Plenty of information out there on that. So if you're looking for a motorhome, a camper truck, this is an excellent choice. You will not find a diesel truck, probably even today, definitely today, I think, you will not find a diesel truck anywhere that will haul as much weight and get as good as gas mileage as this one will. The MPGs of this, while empty, I get around 18 if I'm going fast. If I stick it at like 68 miles an hour, I can get 20 miles to the gallon pretty much all day long. Cruise control works, by the way. I'll stick it on cruise control at 68 miles an hour and I can get 20 miles to the gallon, no problems. This thing, when pulling a 3,000 to 4,000 pound trailer, I got 12 to 13 miles per gallon out of it. There's no diesel exhaust fluid to worry about in this truck. This truck is completely stock with the exception of the air filter. I've got the 6637 filter on it. If you don't know what that is, Google it. It's real common. That is the only mod to this truck. Everything else is completely 100% stock and has been since factory. There's no tuners, never has been a tuner. It's factory injectors, it's factory exhaust, factory everything, factory turbo, everything is factory. And that is one of the things that contributes to the long life of these things. I'm not adding 150 horsepower with a tuner, trying to make a hot rod out of something that weighs 9,000 pounds. That's dumb. So, sorry if you're gonna make a hot rod out of it, it's dumb. Buy a Camaro. Yeah, anything else I'll think of? Oh, trailer towing mirrors, they do extend. Flat glass on the passenger side, which is awesome, but convex mirrors underneath on both sides. They do extend. They're manual, like you have to pull them out by yourself, but the mirrors themselves are power adjust. They're also heated, which is super nice. When it's cold out or when it's rainy out, it'll evaporate the water. Trying to think, backup alarm works, so if you get close to something in the back, it beeps at you. Dude, just everything works. Everything works. It's got a few quirks on it, but pretty much everything works. So, any specific questions, give me a call. The number is in this ad, or email's in this ad. Alright. If I think of anything else, I'll make another video.